October, quite a month for you. Must be happy with how things have been proceeding, not just in October, but for the season before that, the rest of the season.
Yeah, I'm delighted. Players have probably exceeded our expectations at the minute. They've had a lot of volume of games recently, and they've come through with flying colours. They're playing very, very well. Not just winning games, but the manner in which they're winning. They're playing really good football, and you've shown a lot of character, a lot of quality as well. So, very, very pleased with the overall start we've made to the season so far.
And you go into the international break in the European place in third spot.
Aye, but it's early days to be talking about that, David. I mean, initially, could we get into the top 6? We want to try and get into the bracket of Aberdeen, Rangers. We're thereabouts at the minute. Whether we can maintain that's another thing. We've got some important games coming up, and then we've got a huge December. And I think at the end of that, then we'll have a fair idea of how the season's going to pan out. But at the minute, we're playing consistently well and have done pretty much for the season so far.
Just 2 defeats as well, Hamilton, Aberdeen.
Yeah, both at home. Yeah, the Aberdeen one could have went either way. We were disappointing on the day against Hamilton, particularly second half. But the rest of the time, they played very, very well. And we're unbeaten away from home as well. So, that's a nice record to try and maintain.
I think I know your answer to the next one. I was going to say, as your excellent start and where you are now, does that mean you can recalibrate your targets or aim higher than you had initially?
Well, you always want to aim for the stars anyway. And we've had a good look at all the teams in the league. I still think there's more to come from Rangers. I think with the squad and the power that they've got, I think they'll improve slowly but surely. They've got firepower, and they can beat any team on any given day. And Celtic are the juggernaut that'll run away with it. Aberdeen have been really consistent. So it's really difficult to break into that bracket, but we're going to have a good go at it. Motherwell have had a fantastic start as well. And you always think that there'll be another club who'll make a decent fist of it in the second half of the season. January is going to be important for me as well. We need to get maybe 1 or 2 more bodies in, but I'm delighted with where we find ourselves in the form that we're in at the minute.
You've obviously thought about getting bodies in, have you thought for which positions?
Yeah, I mean, that's an ongoing process. We speak to the recruitment team more or less once every 2 weeks about where we may need to strengthen. At the minute, we're short at centre half, but hopefully we'll have McGregor and Fontaine back soon, so that will strengthen that position. And there may be a few chopping and changing in January. I don't want to look too far ahead, but we're prepared for any eventuality. I'm sure we're going to get interest for 1 or 2 players because they've been playing so well.
You got a couple of players, so
No, you go.
on you go.
Do you think the team are playing at the best of their ability at the moment, Neil, or do you think there's a lot more to come from this current group?
I hope there's more to come. I think some of the performances, recently have been excellent, but I was really pleased with, our performance at Ladbrokes and the way we played at Celtic Park. And even the defeat against Aberdeen, I think that looking at that game, I think there's more to come after that, and they've proved that. So players are really in good form at the minute. I think the break's come at a good time for us as well because, like I said, after Saturday, we've only got 15 fit players at the minute. So the rest, and hopefully the rejuvenation we'll get over the next 2 weeks will be important going into between now and New Year.
You mentioned January there, and you know as well as I do that when players are playing well, the vultures will circle a little bit. Do you expect it to be quite an anxious month because you've got some really, really promising young players now at the club? Do you expect it to be quite anxious?
I wouldn't say anxious, but I think it's inevitable, the way they're playing, that there's going to be interest. And, we will maintain that the players aren't for sale unless we get the figure that is right for us. And the club have been pretty strong on that, which has pleased me. But I wouldn't be surprised, Paul, that we do get offers. So I wouldn't say it would be anxious, it would be more expectation rather than anything else, and being prepared for that.
How important has stability been throughout your time here? Because from the outside looking in, it looks as if it's a really stable club from top to bottom. If you look at some other clubs in this league, you probably know who I'm talking about. They've had quite a turbulent past couple of years or so. and you see that affects results. How important is stability both here and at football clubs in general?
Well, it makes my job a lot easier. It's been tremendous, really. You know, the year and a bit that I've had here, the structure of the club, the people that I work for and work with. So it's made my job a lot easier in that aspect, and a lot of enjoyment and satisfaction. So obviously it's very healthy, and we want to maintain that. You know, it's not you know, given to you. There's a lot of hard work goes on behind the scenes by George, Craig, Leanne, the board, and the people that work here at the training ground as well. So it's a very good environment to come to your work.
Do you think that can feed on to the players as well? I mean, you've been a player as well. Do you think, even though they might not be involved in that side of the business from day to day, can it affect their performances as well? Does it allow them to go out and play with a bit more freedom if they know that it's a kind of solid unit behind them?
Well, like, I've been at a club before where, you know, adverse publicity away from the football department has had a adverse effect. So yeah, there's no question that if the club, you know, doesn't get the negative headlines and there's not a furore about how the club's being run and people being singled out for negative criticism, then yeah, I mean that can have an effect on players, there's no question of that. But at the minute we're going pretty smoothly, but it's been a culmination of 3 years of work really, and we're starting to see the fruits of that. But we don't want to stop there. We want to keep building and keep producing our own players, and obviously keep getting the results with the big team.
A couple of players in the Scotland squad for the game against the Netherlands. Do you think maybe more can make that breakthrough in the months to come?
I hope so. I certainly think McGeoch's been unlucky not to, you know, have made this one. I think he's been absolutely excellent and in the form of his life. Maybe it's a bit too soon for him, but if he keeps playing the way he's playing, then it'll be very difficult for him not to get into the squad, I think. And delighted for Paul, obviously. I think he's deserved his call up. And obviously John's he's been a regular in the squad now, and he's just improving all the time. So yeah, it's really good times for the club.
What's your, reaction to this recognition, the manager recognition?
It's a symptom of the way we've been playing. It's, you know, managers, every manager gets a manager month award will say, well, it's down to the players, and it is at the end of the day. If we weren't getting the results, we'd be nowhere near this. So it's down to the performances, and obviously I'll play a part in that, and my backroom staff who work really hard as well play a part in that. But it's a culmination of a real team effort. So yeah, I'm just delighted with the way things are going at the minute. I couldn't be happier.
They've said in the past that, you know, you don't take no for an answer, and nothing short of winning is really good enough for you. Do you think that plays a part in it?
Maybe, but it's not something that they're scared of. I don't put the fear of God in them. Sometimes they need it. Sometimes you have to crack the whip. But certainly over the last few weeks, we've been just trying to keep them at the level that they're playing at and ticking along. And they've responded brilliantly. You know, I'm really happy with the quality of football that the players are showing. And you know, got some players coming into form now where they were a little bit off it. You know, like Marciano's playing great. Ambrose has been really consistent now, and that's certainly made us better going forward.
If I can ask you, Neil, about this supporters survey, 16,000 stakeholders in Scottish football, that's supporters, some coaches, some SPFL managers, not many have responded to this. The kind of top line is that there's a dissatisfaction with the way Scottish football's been run, with people at the top of the SFA and the SPFL. What are your feelings about how the game is governed in this country?
My only issue with the game is, you know, bringing through the youth. You know, not bringing through enough of the quality that we had 10, 15, 20 years ago. And I think Malky's, although he's got the Scotland job at the minute, currently, I think he's been brought in to change that, and I think it needed change. In terms of the running of the game and the governing body, you know, I don't really have an opinion on that because I'm on the outside looking in, really. I'm not sort of really well up there with the runnings. Since I've been here, David, you know, there's been grumblings about the SFA and I think that'll go on no matter how good it is. I think everything will fall into place if and when we get a successful national team again, competing in you know, big championships. But for me, the short term is certainly looking at the grassroots and giving the kids the opportunity that they don't get at the minute. The kids are being priced out of football, And I think we're losing a generation of players where that wasn't the case before, and we need to go back to basics on that.
When you said the kids have been priced out of football, can you just elaborate on that?
Well, some kids, you know, clubs charge them to play, or councils charge them to play, and you know, families can't afford it, particularly in, you know, sort of working class backgrounds. And it's a working class sport, and I think the game should be free for all. And I know it does cost money here and there, but you know, when I was coming through the game, there was boys' clubs, you played for your school, you've got plenty of football. I'm just not sure the kids get enough football at a young age to progress into, you know, the formative years, 14, 16, and progress again. For me personally, the kids don't play enough football at the minute, and I see that with my own kid.